on, please. Good. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Genoa Township Board of Trustees in Delaware County, Ohio reorganizational meeting of January 4th, 2024. The time is 6:30 p.m. Roll call, Ms. Goodman.
Here.
Mr. Antonetts.
Here.
Ms. Vaughn.
Here.
Pat Myers, fiscal officer, here as well. Lauren Fitzpatrick, the director of, intern director of Road, Bridges, and Grounds. Yeah, sorry. Bob Matthews, Roads Division. Chief McMillan, our new chief. Fire Chief Joe Ponzi, Joe Schaefer from zoning, and Paul Wise, our township administrator, all present. At this time, I'd like to call for nominations for chairperson and vice chairperson.
I nominate Mark Antonetts for chair and Renee Vaughn for vice chair.
Again, I respectfully decline to take the position as chair. I just don't feel like I can commit the proper time the residents deserve.
I do wish that you would consider, I think it's important that we have representation and take the burden off of one member for consecutive years. Historically, we would swap this each year. So I would encourage you to rethink that, but it is your choice.
Yeah, I stand by my choice. Thanks.
So the motion will die for no second.
Correct?
I'll still take nominations for chairperson and vice chairperson.
I move to nominate Renee Vaughn as chairperson.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, Mr. Antonetts.
Yes.
Ms. Goodman.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Scam Likely's calling me. Sorry. Vice chair, please.
I'll nominate Mark Antonetts for vice chair.
Second.
Motion seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Mr. Antonetts.
Yes.
Ms. Goodman.
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
The new chairperson, well, the current chairperson will continue is Renee Vaughn, and the vice chair is Mark Antonetts. And I will turn the meeting over to chairperson Renee Vaughn. There you go.
This time, I think we have a life-saving award.
Pledge allegiance.
Hold on, let's do Pledge of Allegiance first. So Pat, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I'll turn it over. We have some life-saving awards with the police department, so I'll turn it over to Chief McMillan.
Good evening, Board. So if I can do each of my meetings as chief to start out with something like this, I think I'll have a pretty good tenure. So it's my honor tonight to be able to recognize two of our police officers, Dalton Delancey and Nathaniel Wilson, who performed life-saving measures on a resident early last month. So on December 17th, 2023, officers Delancey and Wilson responded to a residence on a report of an unconscious and unresponsive male. Officer Delancey arrived on scene first and assessed that the patient needed CPR. Even while given CPR, Officer Delancey was able to remain calm and assist the patient's spouse in her traumatic time. Officer Wilson arrived second with a portable AED and was able to quickly get it hooked up and administered a shock to the patient. Because of their actions, the patient was conscious and responsive prior to the medics transporting that individual back to the hospital. So because of their efforts, it's very likely that the holiday season for that family turned out a lot differently than what it could have. So again, it's my honor to bring them up and recognize them tonight for their efforts in a life-saving award. Dalton, do you have anybody here tonight that you'd like to introduce?
Yes, sir. In the back here, I have my beautiful fiance, Alyssa Rowe, soon to be Alyssa Delancey, coming this May.
And Nathaniel, do you have anybody here with you?
I do, I have both my parents, my brother, and my girlfriend.
Again, I thank you. You know, like I told you guys when I came back on Monday, it was my first weekend as chief of police for Genoa Township. I said, if these are the kind of emails and the events that I get to come back to on a Monday, it'll be smooth sailing. So again, I thank you. And I think we got pizza back at the station for you and the family.
And we'll pause a minute until they clear out. All right. Okay, we'll move on to our reorganization meeting. Paul, do you just want me to read through? All right. So first, we have a Township 2024 reorganization. So I'll move that the day and the hour of the regular trustee meetings for 2024 of the Board of Trustees be held on the first Thursday of the month at 6:30 p.m. All meetings will be held at 5111 South Old 3C Highway, Westerville, unless otherwise announced. Do I have a second?
Second?
And do we want to put in here, add to the motion, the third Thursday will hold?
I think that comes with discussion.
Okay,
The fact that in July, the 4th falls on the first Thursday, so we need to come with an alternate date that can be publicized early.
okay. Do we have a preference?
My suggestion would be that we hold it the third Thursday because we already hold that date. If that doesn't mess up anything with the fiscal office or with administration.
Is everybody okay with the 18th, July 18th? Okay. And then do we need in the motion that we'll hold the third Thursday just in case?
We will do that
Or
administratively. I think it's just
we don't need
consensus.
to, we don't need it, it's just a consensus?
Block the room.
Okay,
That's all we need to do.
okay. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes,
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to retain the following policies: the Genoa Township personnel policies, current police manual and regulations, the fire department policies, SOGs, directives, protocol for medical alarms, and emergency policy. Do I have a second?
second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman? Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to establish the following employment policies for 2024. Health insurance with vision, dental, life, and disability benefits for all full-time employees, part-time employees, regularly scheduled for and working at least 1,560 hours per year, and all elected officials with a $150 per month copay for family coverage, $100 per month for employee with children, and $100 per month for employee and spouse, $50 per month copay for single individual coverage. No individual is permitted in the police, fire, maintenance, and administration buildings in the restricted areas except for employees of the township or as authorized by department leaders. Use of tobacco products is prohibited in all township buildings, grounds, parks, vehicles. Overtime will be approved and documented by the administrator and department leader, and employees are required to attend meetings on their off-duty hours will be compensated at their normal hourly rate. Salary employees will not be compensated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Just want to make clear that the overtime is administrator or department
Oh,
leader,
thank
not
you.
and.
Thank you.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes,
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to make contributions to the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System and the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Plan for 2024 based on current Ohio law. Do I have a second?
second?
Discussion?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes,
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to set the 2024 Maintenance, Parks, and Buildings and Grounds Department's clothing and boot allowance for the all full-time and part-time employees. Replacement will be at the sole discretion of the director. Do I have a second?
second?
Discussion?
Mr. Antoness?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve Exhibit 1, 2024 elected officials and employee compensation as presented. Do I have a second?
Second?
Mr.
Discussion?
Antoness?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to compensate members and alternatives of the Board of, the Zoning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals for 2024 at $60 per meeting attended. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion?
Is that the same, staying the same, right?
Mr. Antoness?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to appoint Joe Schaefer as the Genoa Township Representative to the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission for 2024, and Susan Dorsch and Paul Benson will serve as alternates. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have some comments I'd like to make on this. I am aware that there are some townships in the county who are opting to not not pay for regional planning because there's, I'm hear all the time that they're rubber stamp development. So there are townships who want to start pushing back on regional planning. So because of that, they are passing motions to not pay regional planning. I've been told that according to the Ohio Revised Code, we have to send our zoning documents to regional planning, but that doesn't mean we have to pay them. And if we don't pay them, we don't have a representative on regional planning. So I'm not saying I'm in favor of this. I want to look more into this before we approve this motion. And some of these townships haven't met yet. They meet next week. So I kind of want to see what everybody else is doing before we do this.
What is the cost for this on an annual basis?
Last time, I believe I asked Joe last year, it was around 17,000 per year. Is that, Joe, do you want to come to the mic?
And I guess as Joe's coming to the mic, I would also ask if there are other things we get besides just a representative. I know that we often request maps, updates, et cetera, from them, and if that is part of that money, then that's not just a person. So, Joe?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have the figure on what they're right in front of me, so I don't want to spit out a number that's wrong. You know, we do pay a significant amount. The membership dues are based on population. I'm currently serving as the chair of the Regional Planning Commission, so I can say I'm a little surprised to hear sort of that, to be candid, that some of those other townships are considering that. Of course, we would have to follow the revised code statutes, but the majority of the funding comes from the memberships dues, so it's going to be very hard for regional planning to meet their obligations, and hence for us to be able to get a lot of things done if they're not able to operate. So I'm happy to have more answer some of those questions, though. It sounds like
And
that
like I
that's come up.
said, I'm not opposed. I
Sure.
just am not ready. I would like to wait and see
course.
what everybody else is doing before we just jump onto this.
Of course, yeah. If you want to need to discuss one-on-one, happy to do that. So, yeah, but I don't want to throw out the number, like I said, exactly, because I
And
can't
I could
remember
be
it off
wrong,
the top
but
of my head. But
from my recollection, it was between 11 and 17,000, somewhere in that
sounds
ballpark.
right to me, but like I said, I
Yeah.
just don't want to commit to anything. So, yeah, but if anyone's got any questions about what regional planning does, operations, feel free to let me know. I can have those discussions.
I think that's a really important piece of this. If we don't have a representative, what would we be sacrificing as a township that is potentially needed by the zoning office to function properly and do their jobs?
We do use a lot of their map printing services. Not only just physically printing the maps, but creating the maps. Because printing the maps, yeah, we could go to a different print shop or FedEx or something and do that. But really creating the maps is a huge service.
But
for
is
us.
that, are we using $11,000 to $17,000 worth of creating and printing maps?
No, I can't say that we're using that much in terms of maps. But we do have, like I said, we're, part of those dues, we're getting the service of them meeting the legal obligations we need them to meet under the revised code. So.
And they would still do that, we just wouldn't have a vote.
Well, correct. However, if their funding decreases, it's going to impact their operations. I mean, it's a pretty small staff up there. It's a director, he's got one GIS person, one full-time planner, and sort of an administrative assistant. So it's a relatively small staff, and they're able to service the entire county with basically 4 people. There's been talk of adding a second planner because of how busy they are with a lot of the subdivisions and a lot of the other, we're not as busy as some of the other communities. And for a long time, Genoa was leader in the clubhouse in terms of what dues we're getting, the amount of dues being paid, because we were the biggest township. That has changed as Orange and Berlin and some of those other communities grow. The pie is shifting in terms of who's paying how much. So, and I'm sure that's impacting other budgets in other communities, so. but-
If, oh, go ahead.
There are townships, large townships in this county that are paying both Delaware and Morpsey. So they are getting duplicate services for their money in addition.
Correct.
So they're
Regional
paying-
planning represents us on the Morpsey board, so we don't have to pay those dues and go to those meetings. They speak on our behalf.
If the consensus of the board is to defer this for a future vote, I would suggest that we have Mr. Schaefer look into some of these specifics. Perhaps we have someone from Delaware County Regional Planning come and talk to us, share what they do, and then also find out what Morpsey would charge us if we had to go that route. From what I'm hearing, this may not be as outrageous as it was
Oh,
initially
like I
thought.
said, I'm not saying I'm opposed. I want to wait and see why are some townships not doing this? I need to look into that before I can.
Madam Chair, but
And
vote on
this
this.
motion here, and maybe I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. This motion here is saying these are going to be our representatives if we're on it.
But
So
we
I don't know if
don't,
you-
but you don't get a representative if you don't pay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, this is just saying, that's who our representative is going to be. I'm saying you
If.
wouldn't have to table this motion, because it has nothing to do with whether you're going to be in it or not. You're just saying.
I don't, that's not what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who told you that? Where did you get that information
another,
about this vote?
another trustee in another township in Delaware County.
Yeah, I think we probably, as a township, need to do some of our own research directly with the people involved.
And that's why I'm not ready to vote on this.
What is the impact of tabling this for the next session to give us an opportunity to gain?
Oh, I don't know if there is. I was just, as I read, if there happened to be a meeting between then and there, then I don't know, are you not allowed to be on chairperson anymore?
Yeah, I guess I would have to tell them I have not been reappointed, or no one from Genoa has been reappointed, so I would not be able to go to the executive committee meeting here a week or two, and I probably would not go to the regular meeting until there was an appointment.
When is the payment due to them the first of the year? When does the fiscal year for them?
Again, I don't know off the top of my head. This honestly caught me a little off guard, this conversation, so I'm just not prepared to
And I
answer the questions.
apologize, but I just became aware of this today.
Sure, yeah, I understand. I was not blaming anyone. So,
yeah,
but that's why I just don't have it.
If I remember from last year, it was either the middle of January to the middle of February. So I know we don't pay it right off the bat.
I know
We
the
have a week or
reminders.
two.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
Apologies. I know the reminders do start going out in February,
Yep.
March, because we usually reorganize ourselves in April, or March
So-
for the April meeting.
So at this point, we are still a member.
I
And
think
so,
so.
given that reorg is happening for us now, we could appoint in this motion. And if we decide not to continue, this automatically is defunct.
Boyd, I think you're right. You have a,
This is news to me also. Now, I've appeared in front of the Delaware County Planning Commission on behalf of clients with projects, and I would tend to agree. I don't know of any circumstance where they've turned down. They might have some contingencies on their approval. But I'm interested in finding out more about whether there's value to our residents for that kind of fee. And maybe, Joe, if you could do some research between now and the next meeting,
Sure, of course.
I mean,
Whether
I'm
it-
assuming when there is an issue related to our township, that you have to abstain, no?
Correct. Yeah, we abstain from all votes regarding Genoa Township business, as do the other communities for theirs, as a general practice. So if you don't mind, what regional planning does is they give recommendations on all rezonings throughout the county. The vote is not binding. The recommendation of regional planning is sent back to the zoning commission, and then by extension, the trustees, for consideration as part of the rezoning decision process. What the Regional Planning Commission does have final authority on in terms of voting are the subdivisions, preliminary subdivision, final subdivision, plating approval, as well as any variance to the county subdivision regulations under regional planning's control. So that's really where the true yes, no final vote authority is. But even then, I think even the subdivisions, I think ultimately go to the commissioners. But that's where the power really is with the subdivision. And then regional planning does a lot of planning work, obviously, hence the name, for various communities.
I would tend to approve this because if we're going to do it, we need to have someone representing us. So it's either we're going to do it or we're not, and if we are, we need to have someone from the township on it.
And we can still get all the information
right.
that you're requesting. Perhaps we could have a representative. We have people come in all the time and speak to us. Maybe at the next meeting, we ask DCRPC to come in and speak to us about what they do.
I know it's
justify
been a
their
few
funding.
years since Mr. Sanders has been here, so I'm sure as long as he's available, I'm sure he'd be happy to come and speak and answer any questions.
And then the public will also know what they do.
So the consensus is go ahead and do it tonight.
What's a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I mean-
vote.
We finished discussing, I guess. We're ready for a vote.
Well-
I guess is the right answer or right question. All right, roll
Mr.
call.
Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman? Yes. Ms. Vaughn?
Yes. Thank you for hashing that out with me. I appreciate that.
So what do we do to make sure this doesn't get dismissed? Can we put it on the agenda, Paul?
The meeting in the mid-month, there will be a requisition form to pay them. So don't,
Oh, there you go. Okay.
and that should probably
Trigger
Your
the,
mic isn't on.
At the mid-month meeting that's going to be requested,
Okay.
there will be a purchase order requested to pay the regional planning. So if you put a hold on that payment until your February meeting, that would probably be wise.
Okay.
And does the board believe that we should request Mr. Sanders to come speak to us if he's available to talk about this? Or
At what, February meeting?
February meeting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if
yeah,
we like what he says, then we can release that payment, and if he doesn't, we don't.
that's fair, don't you think,
No,
Chair? No?
but I'm talking to a lot of different people, and I think the plan is to have townships band together, to stand tall, to push back a little bit on the rubber stamping. So just having Mr. Sanders here and telling us what they do, that's not good. The whole goal was that each township would not be in isolation, that we would all come together.
I'm not sure I agree with that unless I
Okay.
know what these other townships are upset about.
I'd encourage you
if
to
it's-
reach out to Concord, Berlin, Brown, Delaware Townships, and Orange. And if you need a list, I can repeat it.
Concord, Berlin, Orange, Brown,
Brown, Delaware.
Delaware. Okay.
Yep. Yep, I think that will help you. All right, moving on. I'll move to appoint the following to the Volunteer Firefighter Dependent Fund Board for 2024. Yep, it looks like Renee Vaughn for Chair and Mark Antonetz for Secretary, Brady Johnson, Joe Ponzi, and John McHale. Do I have a second?
Second,
Do you have a,
well, that's not how this is written,
No,
if I
it's not.
understand it.
how
The
is it?
secretary is oh, wait, I'm wrong. The board vice chairs, we're fine.
Yep.
Good.
Never mind.
That's our
Never mind.
board.
Never mind. Gilda Radner?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to appoint Renee Vaughn as the Genoa Township Representative to the Health Board for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to reimburse employees the IRS standard mileage rate for all employees and elected officials for business use of a personal vehicle must be approved by a appropriate department leader. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to retain the township community hall fees for 2024 on file in the office and on the township website. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to establish Genoa Township vendor sales policy as presented on file for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to retain the unchanged township park shelter rental fees on file for 2024 and on the township website. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve the Genoa Township Park rules and regulations for 2024 on file. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to set cemetery fees per cemetery fee schedule for 2024 on file. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman? Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve the zoning fees for 2024 on file in the zoning office and on the township website. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve the zoning forms for 2024 on file in the zoning office and on the township website. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve the 2024 pay period schedule on file in the fiscal office. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to allow the fiscal office as needed to make supplemental appropriations within a fund at the legal level of control on UAN accounting program. All other transfers require approval by the Board of Trustees. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? I have a question. Can you explain what that means?
Supplemental appropriation?
Well, tell me what this means of how you can move money and when you can't. I know what a supplemental appropriation is, but,
Well, we can always move money within a fund as long as we have the money to move. And we're always gonna come to you and say, we have money in this fund doesn't have the money, this is the purpose for which we need it for, we're gonna move the money from this fund to this fund. But it can't be moving from general to police and move it. it's gotta be-
yeah, I get that. But this,
Supplemental is the appropriation, well, I mean, unless you got the appropriation for which is there is not sufficient to spend the money. Maybe we under appropriated for whatever reason. And we do have money here because we over appropriated for whatever reason, so we can move the money.
that's when you need trustee approval?
No, supplemental appropriations.
Okay.
Need trustee approval, I think that's just a wording thing more than anything.
That's why
If the
I'm
money-
like,
If the money is appropriated in the fund,
Yep.
they can legally move that around within their account code, up and down.
120s.
If
the
con-
same code number.
The same code number.
Yeah, the UAN stuff, I'm like, I don't know what the UAN rules are.
The best thing about UAN is when you try and do something, a big red light says.
They
you
won't
can't
let you do it,
So
yeah.
That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons we use it,
Yeah.
because it's not a private system.
Right,
So,
okay. Any other discussion, questions? All right, roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move that the fiscal officer of Genoa Township is hereby authorized and directed to request the Delaware County Auditor to draw a warrant for an advance of tax monies collected on behalf of said township but not yet dispersed pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 321.34. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move that the annual salaries of the Genoa Township trustees and fiscal officer be paid equally monthly payments in accordance with the ORC Sections 505.24 and 507.09. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Antoinette? Yes. Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to approve the annual township highway mileage certification of 94.394 miles for 2023?
4.
Okay, okay.
It is.
Okay, 2020, I can't say it. 2023, this is the same as 2022. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have committee appointments. Do we kind of want to walk through who wants what first
Yeah.
before we read it? Okay, anybody have a preference?
I mean, I like the chief and all, but I've done 2 years with fire. I would be definitely interested in another
Yeah,
committee.
I feel the same. I mean, I love Molly and Parks, but
I would be very interested in parks to go.
you want to go back?
Well, I've been on all of them.
I know
so,
you have.
Yeah,
I
and multiple times on some.
I
So-
have not been on police or communications, so I'm interested in one or the other. Mark, do you have a preference that you've only been on fire?
Police.
You want to be on police?
Mhm.
Okay. You're good with that?
So,
So I'd like communications then, if you don't mind, since I've never done that, and I've done fire.
okay, I got the
Nobody wants
names
fire,
wrong.
it is.
Sorry.
No, that's not true. We've all done fire.
Well,
so
We
we
love
can-
fire.
We can do 2.
Yes.
I don't,
Yeah, and I'm
I
happy
mean,
to
I don't
take
mind,
2.
I don't mind staying on with Chief Ponzi if there's no conflict on the meeting night.
Well,
I
either
don't-
that or since you two have officer positions on the board, I'd be happy to pick up 2,
I'm happy
For-
for you to do
you know, whatever.
that.
Okay.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so now I've got what?
Parks and Fire,
Fire,
Parks and fire.
Police, and Communication.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well, and thank you for doing 2, because I know that's an extra night.
No problem.
So I'll move to appoint Connie Goodman as the trustee representative to the Parks Advisory Committee for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
You gonna let him have that?
Let him have it.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to appoint Mark Antonetts as the trustee representative to the Police Advisory Committee for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to appoint Connie Goodman as the trustee representative to the Fire Rescue EMS Advisory Committee for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. I'll move to appoint Renee Vaughn as the trustee representative for the Communications Advisory Committee for 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. All right, Pat, I'll turn it over to you for the fiscal officer report.
Okay. I just have a couple things for you. First of all, I'd ask for approval of the trustee meeting minutes as presented to you December 7th, 2023 regular trustee meeting, December 18th, 2023 special trustee meeting, and the December 29th, 2023 special meeting.
Okay, I'll move to approve the following trustee meeting minutes: December 7th, 2023 regular trustee meeting, December 18th, 2023 special trustee meeting, December 29th, 2023 special trustee meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries.
Order there.
So
And
we're,
then, go ahead.
no, I'm reading your stuff, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah. And then Donna and I had a conversation. I know Paul's been involved conversating with us too. You know, every year we have these annual purchase orders and the blanket certificates and year-end financials, a lot of information. So Donna and I talked, and we'd like to get together in a short special meeting just to kind of go through all that with you guys, so you're comfortable with it, where we're at with all that stuff. Instead of just, here it all is, let us know what you think. Let's just get together and look at it. There's no big decisions made or anything like that, just to get together and talk about it, make sure we're all on the same page going into '24 and starting to look out. So we're asking for you guys to check your calendars and see if we can't do something. Was there a day that,
Donna was wondering if
Yeah.
Friday the 19th at 9 a.m. was free.
I am not available
Okay.
that day,
or
sorry.
another date.
Sorry. Did she have another date?
I think somewhere after the 15th of the month,
Okay.
preferably.
Yeah.
So I can do the 16th, or I have to wait until the 25th?
The
I'm
6th,
open the 16th.
so that would be a Tuesday, the 16th. Sure.
Are we talking evening or during the day?
9 a.m.?
I can't do 9 AM on Tuesday, the 16th.
Is there any AM you can do?
Can you do later?
18th, nope.
You can't do the 16th at all?
I can do it in the afternoon or evening.
1:30
Yep.
Yeah.
on the 16th?
1:30, 16th. Paul will post that for us, right? Thank you. That's all I have. Appreciate that.
Okay. I don't need to pass a motion for that?
Nope.
No, we're good? Okay. All right. At this time, I'll open up to public comment. If there's anybody from the public who would like to speak? Okay. Seeing nobody, I'll close public comments and I'll open it up to trustee comments.
I have
Anyone?
nothing, thank you.
Mark, you have
I
anything?
don't have anything, no. Sure.
I have one thing. The Source Point will be offering Medicare Option 2 on January 31st at 1, from 1 to 3 p.m. here in the Township Hall. I think it was May or June. Source Point did Medicare here. It was packed. I sat through it. I'm not eligible, but I just like to learn. But it was really good, well-attended. Do what?
Nice how you put that in there. Not eligible.
I'm not eligible.
The record.
Don't qualify. But anyway, it was very informative. The residents found it super helpful, and then there was, because they do offer, I think, 2 other Medicare courses, and this Medicare Option 2 is one of them. That was highly requested, but when we had done the scheduling last year, it wasn't an option. So SourcePoint is opening up their satellite classes to more options. So anyway, just think that'll be a great class if anybody has Medicare, wants to learn more. So I'll turn it over to police. We're good, right? So maintenance?
We only have one thing this evening. We ask the board to accept the resignation of Joshua Justice, effective December 29th of 2023.
Okay, I'll move to accept the resignation of Buildings and Grounds Technician Joshua Justice, effective December 29th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. Announcements, January 9th, Fire Advisory Committee, January 11th, Communications Advisory Committee, January 15th, the offices will be closed because of Martin Luther King Day. January 16th, there's a zoning commission meeting, and we also have the special trustee meeting on January 16th, January 23rd, Board of Zoning Appeals, and the next regular trustee meeting will be February 1st, 2024, at 6:30 p.m. So at this time, I would move to adjourn to executive session at 7:08 p.m. to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, motion carries. We're adjourned to executive session. Good. I'll move to return from executive session to the regular trustee meeting at 7:48 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes. The motion carries. There was no more business to come before the board, so I'll move to adjourn this meeting at 7:48 PM. Do I have a second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Antoinette?
Yes.
Ms. Goodman?
Yes.
Ms. Vaughn?
Carries.